Hello guys, welcome back to the channel. The paper we are solving today is IGCSE Chemistry Paper 42 and it is the May-June 2024 series. Now, let's start with the first question. A list of gases is shown. Lot of gases are given. They're simply asking you questions regarding the different kind of gases. State one gas which is the main constituent of natural gas. This is methane, which is CH4, which is responsible for photochemical smoke. Now we know that nitrogen dioxide is responsible for both. So the answer will be NO2. Unsaturated. Now by unsaturated they mean one with the double bond. Saturated are the ones with single bond. But unsaturated is the one with double bond. Can you see an alkene here in these gases? Yes, propene. So propene is the answer. Alkenes are unsaturated. Alkenes have double bond. That is why. So propene. Monoatomic particles. Now, monoatomic particles or the gas in monoatomic form is the noble gases. Those are the monoatomic ones. Is there a noble gas given? Yes, helium is here. So, helium should be the answer here. Reduce iron 3 oxide in a blast furnace. We know the equation that Fe2O3 reacts with CO to form Fe and CO2. It is not balanced, but you know that the gas is carbon monoxide and that is also given here, carbon monoxide. So this is the answer. Next, nitrogen dioxide and carbon monoxide are removed by catalytic converter. All right, we know that the toxic gases like NO2 are converted to N2 and the toxic gas like carbon monoxide is converted to CO2. Now they're asking you to write the symbol equation for this. So what you can do is NO2 plus CO will give you N2 plus CO2. Now you balance this, so this will be 2, 4 here and you will put another 4 here. Balancing you can do. I've given you the equation. Give it a try. A list of 5 metals is shown. All metals form positive ions. Describe how atoms form positive ions. Metals have the tendency to lose electrons. Always you have seen that metals are in positive states. Copper is 2 plus, Na is plus 1, Mg is plus 2, Mg is plus 2, aluminum is plus 3. Why is this? Because metals become stable by losing electrons. So by losing electrons. Now, state which of the 5 metals has the greatest tendency to form positive ions. Now, the most reactive metal is the one which will lose the electrons the fastest. So, out of these, potassium is the most reactive one. So, potassium is the answer. Suggest one of the 5 metals which is not likely to show catalytic properties. Now, we know that transition metals have catalytic properties. So let's pick one of the answers. This is a transition metal, this is a transition metal, this is a transition metal. These two are non-transition metals. Your answer can be any one out of magnesium or potassium. Next question. State which of the 5 metals in the list is a major component of stainless steel. Steel mainly consists of iron. So iron should be the answer here. It is also given. Now, part B. A student adds a sample of metal to aqueous metal salt, alright, and they just checking whether a displacement reaction takes place or not. Now, they have given us that in the first one, magnesium is reacting with iron sulfate. So, since magnesium is more reactive, the equation will be magnesium sulfate plus iron. Now, color at the start is green because iron sulfate is green in color. They're asking the color at the end. Magnesium sulfate is colorless, so the answer here will be colorless. Next, silver is reacting with copper nitrate. Oh, sorry, not copper nitrate. This is copper sulfate. Now we have to again check, is silver more reactive than copper? No. So displacement reaction will not take place here. Initially, the copper sulfate color is blue. So it will also stay blue here as no displacement reaction has taken place. Alright. Now, next question. Most group 2 metals form a gas when placed in cold water. Hydrogen gas it is, alright. An alkaline solution is also formed. Yes. So hydrogen gas is the answer here. Hydrogen gas. Name the alkaline solution when it is added to cold water. See, whenever you add a metal to cold water, hydroxide is always formed. So if you're adding strontium, the solution will be strontium hydroxide. One group 2 metal reacts very slowly when placed in cold water. When heated, the metal reacts with steam to form a white solid. This is one example in our syllabus that magnesium reacts with cold water to form magnesium hydroxide. When water is in the form of liquid, it will react to form magnesium hydroxide with hydrogen gas. But when you react magnesium with steam, it forms magnesium oxide. So the metal is magnesium and it reacts with steam to form a white solid. So for that, answer will be magnesium oxide. When it reacts with steam, the answer will be oxide, and in this case, you're reacting magnesium, so it will be magnesium oxide. Now, under certain condition, iron react with steam to form oxide with the formula Fe3O4. All right. Then they're saying Fe3O4 reacts with HCl. So let me just write it down here. Fe3O4 reacts with HCl to form a mixture of iron 2 and iron 3 salts. So iron 2 salt will be FeCl2 and iron 3 salt will be FeCl3 and water. Okay. Deduce the symbol equation. So this is our symbol equation and we will have to balance it as well. First of all, understand how I came to the answer that FeCl2 will be there, FeCl3 will be there. See, they are telling us that the oxidation state for iron is 2 in one of the salts and chlorine is 1. So you cross multiply, it will become FeCl2. And in the other salt, iron is 3, chlorine is always 1. So this will give me FeCl3. This is how I came up with the two salts FeCl2 and FeCl3. Alright. Now to balance this, you will have to put an 8 here and a 2 with a 4 here. You can check all the atoms are balanced in this. Now, this is a question regarding Haber process. So they are asking which process it is. It is Haber process. State the meaning of delta H. It is the enthalpy change. Conditions of Haber process they are asking you 450 degrees Celsius. Pressure is 220,000 kilopascals, or you could say 200 atm. It's the same thing. Catalyst used in this case is iron. You have to remember these conditions. IGCSE can ask you anytime, any kind of question. State two methods of increasing the rate of reaction. Now, the rate of reaction can directly be increased by increasing the pressure and increasing the temperature. So, this is the answer for this. Now, part E, the symbol equation is given. So, it's a bond enthalpy question. For these kind of questions, we simply need to remember that bond energy of reactants minus product will give you the enthalpy change, which is negative 90 here. Let's see what they're asking us. In the first part, calculate the energy needed to break the bonds in the reactants. So we need to find the bond energy, the sum of bond energy of reactants. For that, we should count first of all the number of bonds. As I can see here, we have one nitrogen, triple bond nitrogen, and we have three hydrogen single bonds. So this is 945 plus 3 times 435. The answer will come out to be 2250. So the answer here is 2250. Next part, calculate the energy change when bonds are formed in the products. So indirectly they are asking you the energy of product. Now you know that reactant minus product is negative 90. Reactants energy you also know 2250 minus product is equals to negative 90. So 2250 plus 90 will be product's energy, which will be 2340. So that is the answer here. Now, in the next part, they're asking calculate the energy of NH bond. Just think about it. You know that product's total energy is 2340. So we can simply calculate how many bonds are there in the products and do the calculation. So if you count how many products are there, how many bonds are there, first of all, these two molecules are molecules of ammonia. So as I can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 nitrogen hydrogen bonds. So it means that 2340 is equals to 6 times the energy of nitrogen hydrogen bonds, right? So nitrogen hydrogen bond will be 2340 by 6. Answer is 390 kilojoules per mole. Very simple. Next question. An incomplete symbol equation is given. All right. Water is missing from this. So you'll put water here. Name NH4Cl. NH4 is ammonium ion. When it is combined with a negative ion, it forms a salt. So this is ammonium chloride. Let's say you have this salt NH4NO3. So this will be known as ammonium nitrate. But in this case, it is ammonium chloride. Calculate the value of ammonia measured at room temperature, which forms when this much calcium oxide is heated. So they have given you the value of calcium oxide 1.12. We know that calcium oxide's molar mass is 56. So first of all, I will find out the moles of calcium oxide. Just give me a minute here. I'll calculate this. 1.12 divided by 56. So this is 0.02 moles of calcium oxide. Now, what do? We check the ratio between calcium oxide and ammonia. It is 1 is to 2. The coefficient ratio is 1 is to 2. So, ammonia will have 2 times 0.02 moles. So, the double moles. Indirectly, it means double moles because the ratio is 1 is to 2. So, ammonia has 0.04 moles. They're asking you the volume, and you know that 1 mole contains 24 decimeter cube. Or I'll just give you the direct formula that moles is equals to given volume by 24 decimeter cube. So 0.04 are the moles here is equals to given volume by 24. So 24 times 0.04 is the given volume. This answer will come out to be in decimeter cube. 24 times 0.04. So it is 0.96 decimeter cube. But they are asking you in centimeter cube. When you multiply decimeter cube with 1000, it comes out in centimeter cube. So you multiply this with 1000, the answer will be 960 centimeter cube. I will explain this question again. What I did first is I calculated the moles of calcium oxide by doing a given mass by molecular mass. The moles came out to be 0.02. Now, to check the ratio between calcium oxide and ammonia, the coefficient is 1 is to 2. So the ratio is 1 is to 2, means moles will be double. So ammonia will have 0.04 moles. Then I applied the formula that moles is equals to given volume by 24 decimeter cube. Moles are 0.04. We made given volume as the subject. So to 24 times 0.04, it gave us the answer 0.96 decimeter cube. But in the question, they are asking you centimeter cube. So multiply by 1000, you will get the answer in centimeter cube, which is 960. Next question. A carboxylic acid reacts with alcohol to form ester. Yes, we know this. All right. Deduce the empirical formula of the ester. Okay. So this is a ester given. Let's calculate the number of carbon atoms. 4. Hydrogen is 5 and 8. And oxygen is 2. So the empirical formula will be C2H4O1. You divide with 2 to get the simplest form. So C2H4O1 is the empirical formula. Name the ester. For this, I'll give you one short trick that this part will form the aryl part. So if this is methyl, so methane, so this will be methyl, and this will give you the O8 part. In esters, you know that the names are like methyl propanoate, butyl propanoate, ethyl hexanoate. A lot of different names are there. The alcohol part will give you aryl. So if this was methanol, so this is methyl. And this is the acid part, which is 3 carbon. So this will be propanoate. So methyl propanoate is the answer here. Next, name carboxylic acid as X. So it is made from propanoic acid, and draw its displayed formula. Now the displayed formula will be, this is propanoic acid. Name alcohol Y. Now, since we know the alcohol is made from 1 carbon, so it will be methanol. And the structural formula you have to draw here, right here. See, let's draw the displayed formula first. So methanol looks like this. So the structural formula will be CH3OH. Alright. Now, the next part, concentration of methyl propanoate is decreased. So when the concentration of methyl propanoate is decreased, so equilibrium would want that the concentration of methyl propanoate increases, right? When you're decreasing something, equilibrium would want that the concentration of methyl propanoate increases. And if you shift to backward side, the concentration of methyl propanoate will increase, because when you're shifting backwards, that is the reactant side. So if you go to the reactant sides, the concentration of methyl propanoate can be increased. Alright. But they are asking the effect on carboxylic acid. Now, since you're going towards the left again, that is the reactant side, but carboxylic acid is present on the product side. So this will again decrease because you're not moving in its direction. More alcohol is added. Alcohol is Y. So when you're increasing the product, you're increasing the product here, equilibrium would want that the product should be decreased. You can just imagine equilibrium to be a stable condition. It always tries to minimize the change. If you increase something, it would want you to decrease it. If you decrease something, it would want to increase that particular thing. So when you are increasing ethanol, equilibrium will try to minimize it by going backward again to the reactant side. Now, since you're going to the reactant side, again, you're going away from carboxylic acid. So this will decrease as well. And catalyst is added. Catalyst does not affect equilibrium, so no change. All right. Now, F part, at the beginning of the reaction, no carboxylic acid is present. All right. Suggest how the pH changes at the start of reaction and at equilibrium. All right. At the start of reaction, acid is not there, so it should be neutral, which is pH 7, and it is also mentioned here. But when equilibrium is attained, you have the acid present. And carboxylic acid is a weak acid, so you can write the pH will be 4. Alright, it can be any range between 3 to 7. 4 is a safer option, so 4. Below 3, it becomes a strong acid, and carboxylic acid is not a strong acid. That is why the range is there. You can pick any answer between 3 and 4. Identify the ion that causes the change in pH. It is the hydrogen ions, H+. Name an indicator. So, universal indicator can be used here. Next question. Sulfur is a group 6 element, and show the number of protons, neutrons. All right. Sulfur's proton number is 16. You can check the periodic table. It will be 16. Neutrons will be 32 minus 16 in this case, which is 16 again, and it will be 34 minus 16 in this case, which will be 18. All right. Now, next question. State why isotopes have identical chemical properties because they have the same electronic configuration. Same electronic arrangement, same electronic configuration. That is why isotopes have similar chemical properties. Chemical properties depend upon the electronic configuration. State the mass of this much atoms of uh, sulfur with a nucleon mass number of 34. So this is 1 mole only. And when they ask you mass of 1 mole, it means the atomic mass or the molecular mass. This is an atom, so the answer will be 34. See, formula is moles is equals to given mass by atomic mass in this case, since it is an atom. Now you know that moles are 1, so given mass will be the same as atomic mass, right? So 34 is the answer. And 34 grams you have to put because they're asking the unit. Now, state the name of the amount of substance which contains. This is 1 mole. 1 mole contains this many particles, this many atoms. Next, calculate the relative atomic mass. So, in these kind of questions, what we do is we multiply the percentage composition with the mass number of that isotope, then do the same percentage composition multiplied with the mass number of another isotope, divide by 100. And answer will come out to be 32.1. So this is the answer, 32.1. Next, part B. Sulfur reacts with magnesium to form magnesium sulfide. We know that sulfur has a charge of -2 and magnesium is always +2. So the charge here first of all will be +2 and -2. Then state why magnesium sulfide has a high melting point because it's an ionic compound. Ionic bonds are strong. This will be the better answer that it's an ionic compound and ionic bonds are strong. State via molten magnesium sulfide. See, when ionic compounds are molten, so the ions can still flow freely. So, ions can flow, or you could say mobile ions, or ions can flow. Alright. Also, in the first part, they're asking complete the dot and cross diagram. See, magnesium, they are only showing the first shell. So the second shell will also be there. See, magnesium atomic number is 12. The configuration will be 2, 8, 2. It lost these two electrons. So these two went to sulfur. I can make this here, this here. But we have to show the second shell of magnesium. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And those two electrons went to sulfur. So 2 electrons you will show with a cross here. Next question. An acid containing sulfur reacts with sodium hydroxide to form salt and water. Deduce the formula of this acid. Now see, we know that Na is +1 and hydrogen is also +1. So if they are reacting with some acid or base, the formula will come out to be the same. For example, sodium sulfate is Na2SO4 and H2SO4 is also sulfuric acid. So they always react in the same proportion. So if this is Na2SO3, the formula of acid will be H2SO3. Very simple. Deduce the formula of the anion. We know that Na is +1. How many Na are there? 2 Na. So total +2 charge. So SO3 will be -2. So SO3 -2. State what 7 in Roman numerals refer. It refers to the oxidation state of manganese. Manganese. Next part. So manganese, potassium manganate is oxidized by this acid, and we know that when potassium manganate is oxidized, its color changes from purple to colorless. Alright. Now let's move on to the next question. Glucose is involved in two processes. Name this process. It is made in plants, so this is photosynthesis. Photosynthesis. Write the simple equation for this process. It is CO2 plus H2O giving C6H12O6 plus O2, and you put a 6 here, 6 here, 6 here. It's a balanced equation. State two essential conditions. We know that the energy from sunlight should be there and the chlorophyll should be there. So chlorophyll is a must and energy from sunlight should be there as well. Now, glucose is converted to ethanol. This is fermentation. There are two ways to create alcohol in our syllabus. One is fermentation using glucose. Second is addition reaction of ethene. This one is fermentation. Name the other product formed when glucose is converted to ethanol. It is CO2, carbon dioxide. Next, ethanol is made by reacting ethene with steam. So they're asking you the necessary conditions here. These conditions are given in the syllabus guide. You can check those out later. I'll directly tell you the conditions. 300 degrees Celsius, 60 atm is the pressure, and the catalyst is the acid catalyst. They're asking the type, so acid catalyst. Explain why this reaction is an addition reaction. Because in addition reaction, only one product is formed. And this reaction looks like this, that this is ethene. You add steam to it. So the answer will be, this is what the answer turns out to be. There is only one product, that is why it is addition reaction. Now, last question of this paper. Complete the dot and cross diagram in figure 6.1. Alright, so they have just not showed all the electrons. Carbons, one electron will be here. Hydrogen, one electron will be here. Carbon, hydrogen, carbon, hydrogen. Then hydrogen will be using a dot here, carbon with a cross, dot, and oxygen will be using a dot here and carbon with the cross. Oxygen with a dot, hydrogen with a cross. Yes, this is the correct answer. Alright. So this is it, guys. We are done with the paper. In case of any doubts, feel free to let me know in the comment section. This paper was IGCSE Chemistry May-June 2024 and paper 40